Welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. You are watching the YouTube channel of Kottayam Don Bosco College. I am Raniar, Assistant Professor, Postgraduate Department of English. In this lecture series, I am dealing the paper Methodology and Perspectives of Humanities, which is a core paper for 6th semester BA English students. In this lecture, let's have a look at some of the subjects classified under social sciences and humanities. The first one is anthropology. Anthropology is concerned with all aspects of human life and culture, and the evolution of human beings, their adaptation to different environments, formation of societies and patterns of change in societies as they move from traditional to the present. All these fall under the domain of anthropological studies. So it's primarily about human being and his evolution. And these anthropologists study human life, basing it on preliminary concepts like society, culture, and evolution. And the study of anthropology is also done from biological and cultural angle. Here, culture implies the ways of life shared by people living in groups and their eating habits, use of language, methods of worships, etc. So, anthropology includes people's religious practices, folklore, ways of governing, and also politics. So, this particular genre or this particular study which is classified under the category of humanities or social science is also done from biological and cultural angles. Usually, anthropologists study the economics of a culture, look into how primitives produce commodities and sell them. So, anthropological study includes their religious practices, folklore, ways of governing, and politics. So it is primarily about human being and his life and also his change or evolution. So that is, it is one of the domain of humanities. Next one is archaeology. Archaeology studies artworks, buildings, clothes and pottery. They also study simple tools, complex machines, early temples, tombs and palaces. And in the case of archaeology, the people who are learning archaeology or who are doing the works on archaeology, they are archaeologists. So they tries to find how different cultures developed by studying the objects those people made and used. So when the primitive people were lived at that time, what kind of things they used. So by studying all these things, archaeologists trying to find out the earlier facts. And the nature of a family is determined by examining the number of rooms, their size, the number of hearths and etc. So similarly, objects placed in the grave are an indication of different social classes. So archaeology provides useful evidence for recovering truths in the past. And in the case of archaeological studies, the smallest cultural units are called artifact. And this collection of artifact is termed as industry. So an assemblage of different industries found in close association, and it throws light upon a culture which must have existed in a period. And it is a laborious process for the archaeologist to document, classify, study and interpret the artifacts and his studies. So simply we can say that artifacts are studied in their environmental context because that is essential in getting a complex picture of a particular culture. So anyway, we can simply say that archaeology, it is a branch of knowledge which come under the category of humanities. And the archaeologists study the culture of pre-civilized societies that are not covered by history. Next, we have economics. Economics is a branch of social science that analyzes commercial activity to trace methods by which goods and services are produced. So, economics deals or it analyzes commercial activity, and that activity traces different methods by which goods and services are produced. Economics studies how commodities are created according to the demand of market. In societies, very often we notice a conflict between demand and supply of goods. Economists attempt to reconcile the two and create a balance. So they specialize in the production and distribution of goods and services. So the term economics, which comes from a Greek word oikonomikos, which means management of a household. So simply we can say that economists studies how commodities are created according to the demand of a market. And they also attempt to reconcile the demand and supply of goods and thus create a balance. So we have two types of economics. First one is microeconomics and the second one is macroeconomics. Microeconomics examines the management of money in households, firms, markets and their exchanges. But in the case of macroeconomics, it studies economy in its entirety and places issues affecting it like monetary policies, economic growth of a country, inflation and unemployment. So economic analysis is done on all societal enterprises like healthcare, education and business. In ecological economics, another type of economics is ecological economics, which stresses that natural capital cannot be replaced by man-made capital. So that's about economics. Next one we have psychology. Literally, psychology means science of the soul, or we can say that science of the mind. And the term psychology is originated from Greek words psyche and logos. Psyche means soul and logos means study or science. So science of the mind. So psychology includes observable and non-observable human behaviors such as motor activities like walking, talking, etc. and emotional activities like anger, fear, love, etc. So in psychology we are discussing observable and non-observable human behaviors. Observable like motor activities and non-observable like emotional activities. Sigmund Freud, the German physiologist, conducted experiments and made observations as to an individual's behavior taking roots in its childhood experience. So, Sigmund Freud, as you know, he is the father of modern psychology. In psychology, human behavior is considered as a key element of analysis. Initially, all psychological studies started by analyzing the mind and its structure. At a later stage, psychologists adopted functionalist approach, and this followed by a behaviorist approach where human behavior was considered a key element for analysis. That is why I told you, in psychology, human behavior is considered as the key element for analysis. And nowadays, psychology has several branches: general psychology, child psychology, social psychology, criminal psychology, etc. It had rapid advances and influenced other fields of study. Next one, we have sociology. Sociology studies human social behavior, its origin, development, and institutions that constitute human society. So sociology deals with social behavior of human beings, its origin, development, and the institution that constitute human society. Then, the term sociology is derived from a Latin word societas and the Greek word logos. Individual, social class, religion, customs, etc. are subject matters of sociological studies because it deals with humans' social behavior. That is why it discusses social class, religion, customs, etc. And sociology also studies the social behavior of people and the role of social institution within a society. The origin of sociological analysis are traced from Plato's Republic and Aristotle's Ethics and Politics, which deal with law, the state, and society. So, my dear students, this is very important. The origin of sociological analysis. They are traceable to ancient Greek philosophers. These two ancient Greek philosophers, Aristotle and Plato. We can trace the historical background from Plato's Republic and Aristotle's Ethics and Politics. So, in India, the earliest sources of social thought are found in Upanishads, the Sutras, and the Puranas, which deal with philosophical questions, law, history, and morality. And in the case of India, the Arthashastra of Chanakya, who was the minister of King Chandragupta Maurya, is a detailed treatise on politics, economics, sociology, and law of the period. So, sociology as an academic discipline which was developed by a French sociologist, Émile Durkheim. And Karl Marx is considered as the founder of modern sociology. The term sociology was coined by a French philosopher and sociologist, Auguste Comte, and he gave a new dimension to the study of sociology by trying to understand society in his own way. And he gave a powerful impetus to the growth of sociology. And according to him, sociology is the science of social phenomena subject to natural invariable laws, the discovery of which is the object of investigation. So, as I mentioned, sociology as an academic discipline was developed by Émile Durkheim. And nowadays, many people consider Karl Marx to be the founder of modern sociology because Marx rejected Comtean positivism but set out to develop a new society in context of the age in which he lived. Next one, we have history. History analyzes human past, especially social, political, cultural and economic conditions of the people who live in the past. And historical interpretation of societies differs during different periods. In history, we are discussing all these things. The historians make inquiries into the past and reconstruct history. So, they are trying to make inquiries into the deep past. And from that evidences, he is reconstructing or they are reconstructing history. And they should have thorough knowledge of the past to study it in relation to the present. So each and every time when they are trying to study the past, they are trying to make a relation to the present. So historical laws are built upon certain parallels. Okay, my dear students, with this I am concluding today. See you in the next class. Don't forget to do the homework and send me through WhatsApp. Thank you. Have a nice time.